David Portnoy. Welcome back to another episode of White Claws and World News, where I'm not even actually drinking a White Claw. In fact, I am just drinking Kirkland water. Yeah, guys, so no, this is gonna be a fun episode. I'm gonna talk all things call her daddy, and I'm not saying to call your girl daddy. I'm saying the podcast Call Her Daddy. If you guys have not heard of it, shout out to Alex Cooperman. She is probably the most entertaining podcast host I have ever met in my life. I've actually never met her, but she's probably the most entertaining podcast host I've ever listened to, because she quite simply just does not give a fuck. That's the best way to put it. She is fantastic. If you guys have not listened to it, please go listen to it. You will learn a lot about sex, a lot about how to have relationships, about random shit. AKA, recently she had Dave Portnoy. If you guys don't know who that is, you live under a rock. That is the, I guess, CEO of Barstool Sports. And if you don't know what Barstool Sports is, you live under a rock as well. But Barstool Sports is this poppin', pop culture magazine / social media output that. Mom? That was either my mom or my cat. Anyways, I digress. It's actually funny because this happened on Alex's podcast too. She was recording in her basement for whatever reason. I don't know why she doesn't have an actual studio. I'm sure she does, but her mom was like in the background, like Alex, or some shit, like just saying Alex, like yelling her name, and she's like, Mom, recording a podcast. And I can relate, because honestly, whoa, I'm starting to realize that when you podcast, you have to have water. If you don't have water, grab it, your voice just goes fucking nuts. And honestly, shout out to musicians. Oh my Jesus Christ. A little ASMR water right here. I'm sorry, don't hate me for that. If you guys don't, what were we talking about? Dave Portnoy, yeah, David Portnoy. He came on to the Call Her Daddy podcast. Alex and David apparently have been having some sort of beef. I don't exactly know what it is. But it's funny because she acknowledges the beef and she's like, he probably hates me. But honestly, all I really want to talk about is this sex tape that he dropped. And it's an 8-second video. I haven't actually seen it yet. So I'm going to go do that. Is that weird? No, I don't think it's weird. It's pop culture. It's to be in the know, right? But yeah, so I'm gonna watch it. But she says that his performance was great. He was quote unquote vigorous. She was enjoying it. He was tan, all this shit. And it's just funny because she asks him all this stuff, like knowing that their relationship is not even that great at that. Oh my God, this is terrible. I'm like burping. Too much Chipotle. Like, she knows that their relationship is not at its best, and yet she really just does not care, and she just she just goes for it. And I fucking love that. I really admire that about her. So if you guys haven't seen it, please go watch that. And David Portnoy's goals, man. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur like myself and you want to build a business and you want to build a personal brand and you want to make a shit ton of money, David Portnoy is the guy to really pay attention to, because he is doing it, man. Like, he is really, really doing it. And I am so admirable. Wow, that came out totally wrong. I admire him a lot because he's kicking ass, bro. And he's got Barstool Sports. He's doing business deals like crazy. Also, big shout out, since we're talking about podcasts, to Joe Rogan, man. $100 million Spotify deal. I'm sure you guys have already heard about this because it's been in the news for a minute. But I think Kim Kardashian also just got a deal as well. So shout out to Kim K. Chloe? Mom? Someone's knocking on the door, and I don't know if it's my cat or my mother. But yeah, so shout out to Dave Portnoy. He's a fucking business mogul. And we were talking about Joe Rogan. Yeah, so Spotify, $100 million deal. Spotify stock shot up. Kim Kardashian got a deal as well. I don't know the details about that deal specifically, but I do know that Kim Kardashian is very smart. But you know who's even smarter than Kim K? Her mom, Kris Jenner. Is that her mom? That's a great fucking question. I don't even care. All I know is Kris Jenner's a fucking business ninja. She's a warrior. She probably advised from a business perspective, she probably advised Kim K to put out the sex tape. which has made her career, and basically shitted on who's that lady? Paris Hilton. I don't know why I wanted to say Taylor Swift. No, Paris Hilton, who I think is still kind of relevant. I keep seeing her name in like the randomest fucking places, but man, a lot of shit going on in the world. Coronavirus, I'm sure you got. Oh, also, I'm sorry. Before we even get to coronavirus, shout out to Alex Cooper, because Call Her Daddy is a podcast about sex. It's supposed to be funny. In the beginning of the podcast, she, for a good amount of time, she addresses BLM, Black Lives Matter, and she addresses why ALM, or All Lives Matter, doesn't make sense to say. If you're a racist, go fuck yourself. That's basically what she said. And she's like, if you're, the other thing which I thought was interesting, you know, I'm not an influencer. I don't have a crazy following yet. Also, just by the way, guys, go subscribe to the podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't even know if you can subscribe to podcasts. I think you can. Yeah, go follow the podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram at divijvaswani, etc., etc. But she just talks about how, like, if you have influence, if you have a following, and I don't think this even just applies to people with hundreds and millions of followers, it applies to really everybody, and that is, if you have a following, bruh, like, speak the fuck up, be vocal, say shit, right? I only have almost 2,000 on Instagram. I have like 57,000 on TikTok, and it's fucking declining, by the way. My TikTok is I'm losing like 150 followers a day, probably because my content sucks right now, because I haven't been putting any energy into it at all. But, you know, we gonna keep going on TikTok. I just need a little bit of creativity, and honestly, the creativity is starting to flow a little bit more. I feel good today. I feel productive. I feel, you know, worked out. I got the boxing in. And yeah, it was great. Shout out to George at OC Boxing, and Sean, of course. But yeah, so and what I like what she said. She's like, if you do lose followers, that is the worst thing that's gonna fucking happen. But also, who gives a fuck? Because you losing followers is not nearly as bad as losing your life, like George Floyd and the other people who lost their fucking lives because of cop police brutality. And also, the followers you're losing, they're probably fucking racist, because they don't care, or they don't want to hear what you have to say about certain shit, or they don't believe the Black Lives Matter movement. And if you don't believe in Black Lives Matter, you are a fucking moron. Yeah, you really are. Because, you know, I saw this TikTok, which really, my mom is like banging on shit downstairs. I hope she's okay. Yeah, I'm sure she's fine. Fuck, you know, that's actually a terrible thing to say, especially as a crime junkie, someone who listens to the Crime Junkie podcast. Go follow Crime Junkie. She's always like, people think that the worst can never happen. They're like, oh, you know, she's probably okay, or he's probably okay. But then, like, Sarah fucking gets stabbed in the heart, or like James gets fucking murdered by his son. Like, crazy shit happens. But I'm sure my mom's okay. I hope. Also, what's really cool about where I'm sitting right now is I'm sitting in my room where I grew up, and across from me is a window, and they can see me, but I'm looking through their window, and I see people walking in the hallway, so I'm literally stalking my neighbors as I'm filming this, and it's kind of entertaining. I don't know why I didn't start this earlier. This is fucking lit. I like podcasting a lot already, actually. And I hope to do guests pretty soon, so if you guys have any ideas on who I should get on here. Also, it's kind of weird, because this is covering my mouth, so I'm wondering if I should turn it. Gotta be a little smarter. No, we're gonna keep it like this for this one. Anyways. Oh, also totally right now, I'm on that Gary V grind, because I'm filming this on video, but I'm also gonna take the audio and distribute it on Anchor. Shout out to Anchor, which will put the podcast all over the internet. Podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that shit. So shout out to Anchor one time. But yeah, I was back to the TikTok. I saw this TikTok where it said, it was a girl, and this went viral, so you might have seen it, but she's like, it's a split screen, and on the left, she's standing in front of a burning house, and on the right, she's standing in front of a house that's not burning. And on the left side, in front of the burning house, she's like, oh my God, my house is burning down, and everyone's like rushing to help her, right? And I'm probably not summing this up correctly, but everyone's rushing to help her because the house is burning down, but then the house on the right is not burning, and the girl in front of that house is like, wait, but like my house matters too. And then that made me realize, like, your house matters, but your house is not on fire. Like, that's Black Lives versus all lives. Like, Black lives are on fire right now. People, they need us. Like, they need our help. They need the awareness. They need petitions signed. They need money. Everything, right? But if you're sitting here at a Black Lives Matter protest or at home talking about Asian Lives Matter, green lives, I don't know why I said that, like all lives matter, you're missing the point. The point is that George Floyd, other black people in society are being brutally fucking murdered. And this will actually take me into my next subject, which is J. Alexander Kueng, and I think I said that right, and I don't really care if I said it wrong, but he was one of the officers that was involved in the George Floyd shooting, or not shooting. He was the involved in that scenario where obviously George Floyd was murdered with the knee and all that stuff, and he was just standing in the back. He, along with Lane, I think it's Thomas Lane, who's one of the other cops, was released from prison on bail. So he posted $750,000 for bail, and he's spotted in Minnesota, where all the protests I think are still probably going on. The chaos was all there. He's just walking around, just fucking chilling, bro. Like nothing fucking matters. Like he didn't just be involved in one of the biggest, like, internet, like, murder fucking terrible sensations ever. Like, he's just walking around with a fucking box of Oreos. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Didn't even try to cover his face. Didn't even wear sunglasses. Didn't wear a mask. By the way, you should be wearing a mask because you're in public. Go fuck yourself for that. And you're the reason we have COVID. But, like, bruh, you are involved in one of the most, like, famous murders right now. And this lady walks up to him and she's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "What?" And you should go watch the clip. It's on No Jumper and everywhere. And he's like, she's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's me." And it's like, bruh, you are not famous for a TikTok. You were just involved in one of the biggest fucking murders. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're out buying Oreos, and he was released that day. And look, I get it, bro. You're 26 years old. I think he's 26. You just got released from prison. You're probably not from jail, I think, or prison or whatever it was. And you're probably going to get up to 40 years in prison. And so you're just trying to take advantage of the time that you have out, you know, chill in your sweatpants, fucking get Oreos, kick back, watch a movie. Bruh, this lady, shout out to this lady, bro. I hope we can find out who she is because she grilled him, bro. She really did. She took her phone out. She was filming him. And he was quiet, and it seemed like he was apologetic. Kind of, not really. He didn't even say sorry. He just like, actually, no, I take that back. He was douchey about it. He was like, she was like, "You belong in jail." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry you feel that way." Like, bruh, you know that people are trying, you probably have a number on your head right now. Like, you should not be out. You could probably just have Postmates the fucking Oreos, provided Postmates hasn't banned you from it, which they should. But like, bruh, and what, like, that is crazy to me. That is really crazy. And I'm just surprised that he's in public like he thinks he's just a free man. Like, bro, you will die. People will try and kill you. So that video had me kind of fucked up because, sorry, taking a puff of my Puff bar. Shout out to Puff. Peach ice, man. This is a great flavor. And yeah, I'm trying not to smoke, but to be honest, I want to get sponsors on this podcast. And you gotta have something to brand yourself, right? So hopefully, if I keep using these, I'll get a little brand check, sponsorship check. Oh, in the meantime, we'll talk about my sponsor for this podcast. If you're reading this, your Too Close masks are now available. I'm not showing you the right side of it because I totally spilled coffee on it. Here, I'll just block it like this. There we go. If you're reading this, your Too Close masks are now available on divijvaswani.co. That's division, like the math, you know, the opposite of multiplication or the opposite of subtraction. Divisionclothing.co.com was taken. Make sure you guys go check that shit out. Yeah, so another quick puff. Gotta check my emails. Yeah, guys, so that's some of the crazy shit that's been going on. Coronavirus is obviously the other thing. We're gonna see a second spike. People are out and about. People are walking around at the beach and shit like nothing has fucking happened. And I'm guilty of it too, to be honest. Like, I was out in Newport body surfing or beach, whatever. What the fuck is it called? Beach boarding? Body boarding? I don't fucking know. Boogie boarding, there it is. I was boogie boarding this weekend, and obviously I'm not gonna wear a mask when I'm in the water. They should make waterproof masks, just by the way. So, you know, I'm part of the problem. Fuck it, whatever. So we're gonna see a second spike. I'm curious to see how it impacts the real estate, the real estate economy, the stock market. I think shit's gonna hit the fan, and I think right now we're being too optimistic, and we shouldn't be. So I'm very curious to see how it all progresses out. Let me know what you guys think about that too, because it's very interesting. Could also be just the biggest fucking political hoax ever. Could be. We really don't know. Also, I fucking hate Joe Biden. I can't. Sleepy Joe, man. I keep seeing your goddamn advertisements on Instagram, and I'm not gonna vote for you, bro. Look, I'll be honest, I don't even like really talking about politics. I'm not really into politics. I don't really give a shit about politics. It does impact me, obviously, taxes and all that, and certain rights that I have as a human, but I don't like Joe. The thing that he said to Charlemagne the God, and if you guys haven't seen it, man, he doesn't use his brain. He's an old fart, and he just doesn't use his brain. So, but I also don't really like Trump, so I'm kind of just, stuck, I guess. But I do think it's important to vote, so I'm going to make the best decision that I can, and I think we should all do the same, obviously. What else is going on, guys? There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. I'm trying to think, man, to be honest. We talked about podcasts. We talked about TikTok. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. This is another topic I've been really wanting to talk about, and this is education reform, okay? And this actually does tie into TikTok, because if you guys haven't seen yet, there are so many of these goddamn financial advisory investment experts who, by the way, are 15, 14, 13, 16 years old and don't know shit about the stock market, yet they're promoting Robinhood. They're trying to act like these fucking Forex geniuses, and I don't doubt that some of them probably know how to do it and they're probably making money, whatever. But bro, it can be so misleading. I mean, you probably got people on there who have actual money, who've got 10 grand set aside for their investment. They want to try and put it in the market for the first time, and they're watching these TikTokers and fucking taking advice from them, and then losing their shirt because they made the wrong investment decisions. And I think that's so dangerous, and I think TikTok needs to do a better job of monitoring it. The flip side is, I love the fact that Robinhood, Acorns, not the fucking, is it food? Yeah, not that shit. Not the shit from the iceberg movie. What's that shit called? Goddamn, how am I forgetting? Ice Age. Not from that. I'm talking about Acorns, the app. Who, by the way, if you want to sponsor this podcast, you definitely should. White Claws and World News. Shout out to me. What was I saying? I like the fact that they're on TikTok and that people are becoming more aware of investing. People are becoming more communicative, or they're talking more about stocks and about the things that are important, which are debt, assets, liabilities, finance, numbers, all these things that, again, they don't fucking teach us in school. They really don't. Yes, there's organizations and clubs and shit and activities that you can do to become more familiar with these things. Use YouTube and Google that you can self-educate. But let's face it, most people don't have the drive and the motivation to self-educate, right? They don't have the drive to go on YouTube and spend a couple hours learning about finance. And a lot of people do, but most people don't. So I think we got to incorporate it more into our education, basic classes. Bruh, I know I'm not the first person to say this. But who the fuck cares about the Pythagorean theorem, bro? The quadrilateral x is equal to negative b plus or minus 2a and all over 2a. Bro, when the fuck am I going to use that in my life? Ever. Bro, people who are becoming mathematicians, fucking scientists, yeah, I get it. You probably will use that at some point. But dog, the people who are becoming real estate agents, lawyers, musicians, bro, oh my God, please tell me this didn't stop recording. Oh, it didn't. Shout out to GarageBand. Bruh, who gives a flying fuck? Who really gives a flying fuck? I know I don't. You can bet I don't. I really don't. And I will never use it. And I hope and I wish that we were talking more about debt, car loans, real estate, the best investment on earth. E-commerce, right? Shit that actually is relevant, bro. But we don't. We're not taught that, and it sucks. And I hope that leaders in the education business or industry, whatever, can start to make those changes. I hope that I can become more involved in those things and help in some way or shape or form. And I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm starting with the content, obviously, because we've got the internet, and that's my tool, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So, but look, man, I went to USC. I graduated, fucking not the best GPA. It's like a 3.2, whatever. But I've got a little business going, making good money, like it's cool. But it was all self-educated. It wasn't from the classes. It was from mentors. It was from not even really mentors, from YouTube mentors and from the internet and from me sending cold emails and cold calling people and figuring shit out, right? Not from sitting in class and listening to Mr. St. Clair talk about fucking history and fucking Mr. whatever talk about, and I'm so sorry to call out Mr. St. Clair because I actually really, really fucked with his class. But yeah, guys, I think I'm just going to end it there. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your boy Divij. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Wow, I said that twice. Thank you guys for tuning in to White Claws and World News. I know I didn't have White Claws in this episode, but I will in the next one. Is 22 minutes enough for a podcast? Yeah, I'm going to say it is, but hopefully the next one will be a little bit longer. Also, a quick shout out to the boys over at Impulsive. If you guys haven't listened to the last episode, it was Gymshark. I had the opportunity and the pleasure of putting that deal together. It's for my business, DIV Management, LLC. And Ross Edgley came on, and he's a fucking monster, bro. This guy swam across the UK, around the UK, I'm sorry. He swam around the UK, bro. He didn't just swim across Laguna Beach or through Newport to Corona del Mar. This man swam around the UK. He's done a triathlon with a fucking tree on his back, bro. This man is no joke. So, shout out to Ross Edgley. Shout out to the guys over at Gymshark. All right, I'm actually going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button. Follow me on Instagram at divijvaswani. Follow me on Twitter at divij_vaswani. My name is so hard to say. I still have troubles with it. I think I'm going to sign out. Have a great week. I'll see you guys in the next episode coming out tomorrow. Bye.